Welcome to WooTube. Hello, everybody. My name is Conran Woo, and today I'm covered in bees. Yes, the bees are here. Or are they? We'll find out very shortly. For those of you not in the know, this glorious guess of a picture here, I believe was put together by Jono from UK Slack. And that was a guess at what the card may look like. How would you know what the card may look like? Well, I gave quite a few teasers. I basically made it easy for you this year, to be quite honest. So, you know, we're gonna go through the puzzles that I set out, and hopefully can put some people's minds at rest if any of the clues weren't there, or if you haven't seen them yet, then you'll get to see the puzzles. If you know the answers to the clues in the chat, don't write them immediately. Because some people might not, and then they'll have a little chance to work out what the puzzles might be. But what am I talking about, these puzzles? Well, you see one of them right in front of me, and I just wanted to quickly kind of talk about dingbats, which is what these are. These type of puzzles were dingbats, or are dingbats. And it comes from a big part of my youth, where, let me find the right page and try not to accidentally show the wrong thing, because that would be hilarious. You can all ignore that. It's got nothing to do with anything. Here we go. Boom. Sorry. Oh, there. Dingbats. This was Dingbats. It was a game made by Waddingtons years and years ago. A fantastic game, and was essentially you worked your way around this board, which you can kind of see upright in the background there. And as you landed on spaces, you would have to do clues. Oh, I've not. Have I changed this back? Can you see my screen? You probably can't see my screen, can you? No, you can. Okay. Right, I've got to be honest. My computer is running like dangerously slow. There's a lot of very red marks on my like frames missed and things like that. So if this all falls apart, please let me know. If I start like sounding like a robot or my picture like quality just goes to crap, then please do tell me so that I can at least try and remedy it a bit. But there is a lot of strain going on. But this was Dingbats. And essentially you had clues which looked something like this. Here we go. So this also gave away the fact that this was going to be the cost. A bit robot. Okay, we will see how things go. But yes, let me know. Keep me updated. Hello everyone, by the way. I can see Phil in the chat. Meteor's here. Radish, always good to see you. We've got the lava that is cold, and obviously Chaos of 99, and plenty of other people watching as well. So thank you all for joining today. Maybe close about 1,000 browser tabs. That would be good, wouldn't it? But I'm hoping that they're not creating too much of an issue, because I kind of might need them for later. We'll find out. I guess I could close them, but we shall see. I'll tell you, the main issue is that I'm actually having to run my chat bot thing doesn't work. So I'm having to run restream in the background. So I'm kind of like, I have the video up twice. Anyway, I should stop. We should do some puzzles. Right. So this is a dingbat. This represents a card. So if you've not come across these before, I often put these together for things like Worlds and UK Nats and EMEA, those kind of places. You'll often find 30 or so clues, and they'll all represent a Netrunner card. This clue gave away the cost of the card which I'm scooping today, and it's very, very simple. A dingbat works like this. You take apart the words and you kind of move it around in a way, or you play with the formatting or the style, and you use that to give some clues. So what we have here, we've got some people taking guesses in the chat. That's good. Odd Radish coming in with a question here. So we have div, and it is inside ER. So we've got div in or diviner. Boom, diviner. Div in You see? I'm going to go back just so that people get this and get the idea of what's going on here. So we've got div, and then it's inside ER. And that makes div in or diviner, however you want to pronounce it. And this gave away our cost. So we know that whatever, it's very like cryptic crosswords, exactly, Preacher. And it has its own kind of rules, much like cryptic crosswords do, although a little bit simpler to get around because they are all kind of visual, whereas cryptic crossword, you often have to learn all the kind of bits and pieces, which can be very fun, but you know, can be trickier. So we know that it's going to be 2 cost, because this was the cost, and here we go, 2 cost. Excellent. You'll also notice that this is a Gin Techie Ice. Just saying, we might see a few more of those in here. This was quite a fun one. I'm going to show you this version. I'm going to let you have a look. Don't put the answer in the chat yet if you know it, because I'll let you have a little think, see if you can work out what this one might be, because this is an interesting one where I had an easier puzzle, which I was originally going to go for, and I decided that it was a bit too easy. And I was quite pleased that people got this. People got this without too much difficulty from what I saw, but it did take a little while. It took a bit of thinking. So we've got a K, and we've got a J, and we've got a box, and you've got to think about the fact that the box wouldn't normally be there. So why is the box there? Is it because they are inside the box? And if you couldn't get this, then there was a slightly simpler version, which would have been, this would be exactly the same card, and this might make a little bit more sense to people. Um, you can post guesses now if you know. I've maybe made it a bit easier with the simpler clue here. K over J. I mean, you're going in the right direction. We're definitely going in the right direction. But that's not a name of a card. K on J in is what we're looking for. So here we've just got K on Jin, or in the trickier clue, K on J in. And funnily enough, this is way easier to write. Like, look at Odd Radish's example, and that's actually better than I can explain it by words. So we've got Konjin, and this was giving us the strength of the ice, or whatever it might be, which is going to be free strength. So let's remember that. We've got 2 costs. We've got free strength. Jono's covered in bees guess looking quite good so far. It's not just him as well. It was all of UK Slack putting that together. This was a bit of a fun one. This started out being a little bit too easy, and I had to jumble it around a fair little bit. So we've got some letters here. They might spell words. They might represent things. But you're always aware of the fact that I've done something with them. I've made them into a shape. Why have I made them into a shape? What is that shape? If you want to post any clues, I think you can do so now. Or any guesses. I specifically shuffled this one around a little bit to throw people off, because I had quite a lot of people guess, is it toolbox? It's not toolbox, but it is indeed. Arkwhale coming in with the correct answer there. Loot box. This was going to give us I had 3 clues, which will point to types and subtypes. But Axu coming in with the fact that it was toolbox all the time. Yeah, that's, I'm crafty like that. It is loot box. And very specifically, I chose loot box here because this is a trap, and it is only a trap. So we know that from the subtypes here, it's going to be a trap. I think someone did point out, maybe it should represent ice. I kind of forgot that ice was part of the subtype type thing, but I also thought it was a bit too obvious or unnecessary as a clue once I've said all the other things. Fun little clue here. I enjoyed quite a few people getting this one correct, but for the wrong reasons. At least 2 people got the right answer, but for completely wrong reason, until it was pointed out why it was. This is my favorite type of dingbat. It's incredibly simple. There's only 2 things which are going on in this picture. There is a single letter, so we know that that's relevant, and there is the positioning of that single letter. Now, some people came in with the correct guess that this stood for AP, as in the subtype AP type of ice. Which, funnily enough, is correct. But importantly, if this was trying to represent AP, it would just be a P in the middle of the box where everything else is. Exactly right. Here we have a P up. We've got a pup. So this was one of the sort of first ice which jumped into my head when I wanted something which was AP. It wasn't anything else, and it was just a classic piece of ice with AP that I could make a pretty good dingbat out of. So we now know that it's AP. We know that it's a trap. There was one other type subtype. Another kind of quite simple clue, a single letter. Bit of colour here. No colour on any of the others. I wonder if that's relevant. Of course it's relevant. So we have an M, and it's blue. And that's all you've got. And that's all you need. I'll let you all have a think. All you need to get to bloom. A bloom. Which is a code gate, but notably it's also an observer. I couldn't think of I couldn't think of a good dingbat for some of the other observers which I'd have rather done, which are sort of more known observers. So I kind of went with this. I knew that people would be able to look it up if they wanted to. Axu just begging me to stop at this point, because then if I don't scoop it, they can't print it. It might be the case. And we'll see whether I feel the same at the end. We've got an amount of influence here. We need to know the number of influence and what faction the influence is for. And this clue would point to a card. Interestingly, bit of a mess up here. I thought that the card which I was doing here was an ice, but it's not. I had in my mind that this was an ice. Chaos of 99 coming in with this one being the easiest. I assume for this one that's right in front of me here, the influence clue, Ori. It's interesting. Some people yeah. I like this clue was kind of mid. It was kind of mid because we've got a mid Ori or a mid Ori. Yeah, right in the middle. But Ori in the middle. Yeah, and for some reason I knew that Midori was a card. I really thought it was an ice. And part of my whole kind of thinking here, I was trying to use as much ice as possible for my dingbats, and I was trying to use as much Jinteki ice as possible for my clues. So any time where there was a clue that was available to me that I could use a Jinteki ice for, I have done. Apart from this, where I genuinely thought it was one. I probably should have checked that first. So 3 influence, okay, kind of splashable maybe if it's an important part. We'll see if it could be. We're gonna move on to the flavor text next. Now I couldn't do a straight dingbat for flavor text. It wasn't going to work. And yeah, Midori is essentially the FFG Mifra. I think similar. But yeah, I couldn't do a straight up dingbat for the flavor text. I just couldn't find one that would work. I knew the card which I wanted to point towards. And so I put together this little kind of alternative puzzle where you have to sort of work out the 4 little bits. Wait, you knew it was free inf but didn't know the type? Yeah, we know the type. It's a trap, it's AP, and it's observer. That's all we need. Oh, how did I know? I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know, Cold Lava. That is very true. Like, how did I think I looked it up on NRDB, and I think you can float over it, and I think it just tells you influence. So I didn't pull up the actual card. Also, I'm very bad at reading cards, like really quite bad at reading cards. Yes, GLC, you really. So I was watching all along, watching UK Slack and GLC kind of go at this puzzle at the same time, which was really quite amusing. There was a lot of kind of back and forth, and sometimes GLC would get the clue first, sometimes UK Slack would get the clue first. This one really annoyed me how quick Mike P came in with this. Just like straight off, just it's this card. Apparently he'd only just been looking at it like the day before. But I really thought this was going to be the one which was going to keep people guessing for quite a while. So we've got 3 things going on here. Or 4 things, sorry. We've got JNet. We've got me, myself, and I. We've got MIC. and we've got Ken. Okay, JNet, me, myself and I, MIC for the lose 2 clicks, and Ken for the disappeared clone. And if you put all of those together, then you get J, me, Mick, Ken. Most annoyingly, Mike came in as well with, well, the flavor text must just be Buzz then. Immediate, like really nailed it. So, you know, shout out to Mike. I can't take it away from him. He smashed this one. So the flavor text here is Buzz. That's it. Now we get on to the fun stuff. What does it do? And at this point, we're pretty close to our UK Slack guess here. Here we go. Here's our UK Slack guess, just to remind us. We've got 2 strength, 3 cost, 3 influence, trap AP observer with the flavor text Buzz. So we're pretty close. It is indeed the Buzz from the NSG clues. Subroutine 1. This card represents a little bit of subroutine 1. It's also kind of fits the theme quite nicely, which might be a little additional clue. Indeed, we do have an ST in G. We've got a Sting, which has a lot of text on it, but it importantly has a bit of text that my card has. Not going to tell you quite what it is yet, but we'll find out. Yes, part of this, it's going to do some of that. It's going to do some of that. Here's an interesting clue. I regret giving such an easy version of this, and I also regret not reading the card, much like before. Jono pointed out in UK Slack that surely this can't be the clue which it does represent, because that would just then should have said season, not seasons, which might give it away a little bit. I completely misremembered this card. I've also given away like what it is now. So this represents mid-seasons replacements, which I always thought was mid-seasons. I just didn't, you know, when you just there's that mental block thing when you just assume something is correct. So that's what I thought the card was. So I did this, and obviously we've replaced the middle of seasons. So we've replaced the A, we've replaced the S, we've replaced the O. Now, this was the easy version, and I feel like I should have done the harder versions, because particularly with Hive Mind working on this, this was going to be the first version. And this is where my brain like goes to in some of these. So this is replacing the middle of seasons with one letter, the next letter in the alphabet, which is really mean. And I love it, but I feel like it might have been too hard. Maybe if I'd have like colored the BTP in gray or something like that to pull them out, it might have been something, but it would have been really hard, especially with the incorrect S on the end. So, you know, it was something. I also considered this, which is replacing the A, S, and O for the number that they fall in the alphabet. So again, we've replaced them with something. I went with the easy version here, and of course we've got mid-seasons replacements, which suggests that maybe we're getting some number of tags, or it's got a trace on it. I'll let you decide which of those is most likely. And then the final bit of subroutine 1. I quite like this because I had 2 possible dingbats for this card, but we'd already done one which would have been similar. Or even going with a number one would have been fine. Yeah, I feel like, to be honest, with the hive minds working on it, so with like the whole of UK Slack and GLC all working on it, I think someone would have got it from the number one. So we should see. This was quite fun because it abuses one of my favorite kind of things of breaking the fourth wall. A lot chaos. Yeah, quite a few people thought this was Overmind. I saw other people guess at Overmind on this one. But I really like stuff when it's like in a comic book and it bursts out of the page. This is a mind. It's escaping. It's mind-scaping. And this has quite a lot of text on it as well. But quite importantly, it is the only card which has an exact... Actually, no. There were two cards. There were two cards which had exactly the text which I needed from this. This and Starlit Night. But I couldn't think of a good one for Starlit. Oh, not one which wouldn't be easy anyway. So we've got some combination of Sting, mid-season replacements, and Mindscaping, and that is subroutine 1. Subroutine 2. Oh yeah, that's a good thing when you only know half the cards, and Overmind doesn't even pop into your head. You might, hopefully, you can see this. If you can't, there is a very faint OS on the page. This one caused everyone a lot of trouble, and I was quite happy with how much trouble this caused people. But notably, Wonky Wombat, I believe, in GLC was the first to crack this, as much as watching UK Slack run around in circles, mention the correct answer multiple times and still talk themselves out of it being correct was absolutely hilarious. I believe MCG posted all of the cards which had OS at the end of their name, including the answer, and it didn't pop up. Fee then posted the correct answer, but for the wrong reason, but for a kind of interesting reason. But everyone decided that it wasn't a good enough reason, and it kind of wasn't, because it wasn't the reason that we were looking for, until finally we came around to the fact that this is an OS, and it's faint, or it's light, or it's fair. It's a fair OS. Quite happy with how hard this one was for people. So yes, really interestingly, this is one of only 2 ice which I could have used for this particular part of the sub. So if you think that this part of the sub is end the run, you are wrong. This part of the sub is going to have a subroutine that says give the runner 1 tag. It is incredibly hard to find a piece of ice which has a sub that just says give the runner 1 tag. I will let you guess in the chat what the other card is. There's technically 2, but one of them is still a little bit wonky. But I just want a card that has a subroutine that says give the runner 1 tag and nothing else. Lastly, last part of subroutine 2, a little bit of a kind of, this is very classic dingbats. We've got like symbols representing words and all sorts of things. Yeah, only 2 ice like have a specifically just a subroutine that just says give the runner 1 tag. No, Colossus doesn't just say that, I don't think. No, it doesn't, because it's got a if it has, it's got a brackets after it. So Colossus can't count. Sorry, Kikai. Good guess though. Mr. Pele, friend of the show, coming in with the absolute correct answer. Vasilisa is the other one. I guess Starlit Night, actually, no. True, Starlit Night would have worked. Starlit Night does say that. Does Doom Scroll say give runner 1 tag? Maybe it does. Maybe there's way more than I thought. I might have really screwed that, Anyway, the answer here is indeed the little this sign, this one here, is an or sign. So we've got sut and sut orm, and we've got sandstorm. Oh, maybe the. So what was I? Okay, okay, no, I remember what it was. I remember it wasn't. They weren't the only cards which said do one give a runner one tag, but they were ones which had a very simple like give a runner one tag, right? Like if I'd done like hammer, so that's what I was looking for. I was looking for something which it was kind of going to be obvious that it was just going to give a runner one tag. Sorry, I was like there must be way more than this, but I was working myself here. So sandstorm is the answer here. The better ice that I could have used for this would have been envelopment, but I couldn't find a dingbat in my head for it. And I think that's all the clues. So now we know exactly what the ice does, and that's the end of the stream, right? I don't like this ice. This is Vixsec. It is, as we know, a 2 cost-free, strength-free influence trap AP observer. The first subroutine says do X net damage from Sting and give the runner X tags from mid-seasons, and X is equal to the number of tags the runner has from Mindscaping. And then it says give the runner one tag and trash this ice. Buzz. Yes. This is a bit mean, and I'm worried about it because it's going to either do nothing other than give you a tag, which means it's a rubbish ice, or someone's just going to die to this out of nowhere because you're not prepared to break a trap ice. If you don't have a AI or, anything good, this could get you really nastily if you happen to have some tags. How would you have some tags? Let's talk about all of the windows that I've got open. Am I in the right thing here? Oh no, I was. Well, I need to be back here now. Oh, okay, right. I need to do a little bit of shifting around here. Right. Okay. So, how do you have a load of tags and where would this be relevant? I think it would be quite relevant, potentially, and quite ruinous in certain numbers of Alco decks. This kind of Alco deck where you're playing an Oppo and then they either clear all the tags, in which case you've done what you need to do, or they don't clear all the tags, they run into your Vixsec and they take like 4 damage and 4 more tags, and then you're pretty busted. Even just a small Oppo, you run into a Vixsec, you take 2 damage and you take 3 more tags if you haven't cleared any of them, and all of a sudden you've got 5 tags. That's a lot of tags. That's more tags than you can be getting rid of. So we're probably going to see it in some kind of Oppo egg, and someone's going to die to it horrendously, because it's the kind of ice which is going to do that. I need to, sorry, bum. Right. This guy, remember this guy? The big snake that has a really nasty on encounter when you res it? And the answer to that really nasty on encounter is you just go, well, I'm just going to take the tags, because what are you going to do with the tags? Well, if you have a Cloud Eater on the outside and you have this guy on the inside, all of a sudden you've just taken like 2 damage if you can't deal with this, and 3 more tags. That's a lot of nastiness, like especially in decks which play this guy. um, yeah, like Cloud Eater really turns up in Sisyphus decks and there you just have to end up taking loads of tags. You might end up taking 4 tags. You then potentially can't run into any ice if you don't have a way of dealing with it. Yeah, like put in some more Thesarums in your deck is probably a good idea. Something else. Um, there's also certain cards which will give you tags on the runner turn. Remember this this little fella from earlier on in Scoops, and everyone's like, well, how are we going to leverage this tag? I mean, this might not be a brilliant way to do it, but it is something which all of a sudden Vixek has a bit more teeth because you've got a tag on your turn, and if you run into one, you've suddenly got 3 tags. I guess one of them's going to go when the Nihilo agent goes, but if you had also run through a ping or a VSA or something like that, it could be pretty nasty. Um, uh, this card, which will give you 3 tags on your turn, could be horrendous if you just sort of, okay, I'm gonna just try and win this turn, and oh dear, I've run into a Vixek and taken a bunch of damage and even more tags. Odd Radish has pointed out that this is a good Mitra card. I hadn't even considered Mitra. That's disgusting. I hate it. Congratulations. Um, really gross. Yeah. Obviously, just Oppo as well. Anything that we can do Oppo. I could see it working really well in a nasty Pravdivos deck, which Axel will be super happy about. The type where you're just kind of running people into Chekist Scions, which have a bunch of tags. And maybe if they don't run, you've got like Bladderwarts, or you've got the Jinteki asset that does 2 damage, Reaper functions or something like that. And again, like if you've run into a checklist and you've got 3 tags and you're like, oh no, well I better check this other thing. Turns out to be a Vixek in front of it. Oh, that's going to be nasty. Also, we might see some more mitosis decks in Jinteki playing with Chekist Scions, because all of a sudden this card gets a lot better when you're playing Chekist Scion and Mitosis, because you might not be able to run around so much anymore if you hit into one. This is like good tag punishment in Jinteki. Is it good? No, probably not. I don't like it. I do love playing Mitosis decks, but I don't like playing against them, so I'm a real hypocrite. So yeah, traps, great. Traps for traps, and finally this guy. Mutually assured destruction decks have 2 ways of winning. They have the I'm going to do a combo where I can mutually assure destruction and then pop off in the same turn. Or they mutually assure destruction you, and then you normally have a turn to win before they kill you or do something else. I'm going to let my computer catch up because it really skipped there. Hopefully it's holding together. Only just by a thread. If you've got a Vixek on Centrals, one on R&D, one on HQ, something like that, and then you play Mutually Assured Destruction and trash everything else and give them 6, 8 tags, something like that, and they don't have a way of dealing with the Vixek, then they can't even run Centrals to try and win, or they might just die. Yay! I don't know if I like this card. I think it's a massive gotcha. I think it's really mean. It might do absolutely nothing. We might not see it played at all. We might see someone die to it on stream in the most unfortunate of ways. It also trashes itself, so fun for Ob. Um, which is also good. Laser pointer, yeah. I mean, it's we've obviously just been in a real sort of AI heavy meta with the dolls floating around everywhere. They're now gone. But if you don't have access to Visarums or laser pointers or any AI, you just need an AI. A cheeky Mayfly, as Chaos points out, or if you're on Audrey or Ice Destruction, then you're fine. This melts pretty easily, although not with a single crew, so a little tricky. Yeah, it's a bit mean. It might show up in Thunderbolt. So look out for that. um, and yeah, just all the best decks. So have fun with your buzzy little bees, and I will be playing Arasana and not mind. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me for today. It's been a bit of a fun day. The new Crim card is absolutely bonkers. If you haven't seen that, that's lunacy, and either that or Deep Dive is getting banned soon. I'm calling it straight now. Love the new little code gate, the little HB code gate. If you haven't seen that, that was on. I can't remember which stream it was. I've been watching a lot of streams recently, but that was excellent. In Thunderbolt, this doesn't get a third sub. Yeah, it does. It's AP. Does it not? Oh, it trashes. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. It's less good in Thunderbolt. Yeah, love the new little code gate. I think that's excellent design for a small piece of ice. So big shout outs there to whoever came up with that one. I think it's really cool. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, I don't know, just playing some Arasana with little Stowaway really. Hopefully I'll be doing a few streams sometime soon. We'll do some like 1 hour streams with some new cards, make some jank, and have some chats. Yeah, sorry, maneuver. I really I needed to refresh that title earlier. Anyway, it's been great seeing you all. Yes, sorry, it was on Netrunner FR, the little code gate which I was talking about. Go and watch that. It's I think it's a really cool piece of ice. I like it. Thank you everyone for coming along. Enjoy buzzing around, and we'll